Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Clustered Nuts. And I'm so happy to have with me here today a friend. When you when you mention an extroverted extrovert, if there is anything like that to me, like this is the person, just meeting Jen. I think I mentioned sometimes ago that our, our energy is, what's the English I used again?
Me, I don't know
Like
the English that you use.
like our energy is actually something that can be caught
Contagious.
easily. So yeah, it's contagious. Thank you. And she said you have to pay for that right now. Or
I mean, it's about
afterwards, she
time,
will be
right?
charging. So I believe she's a great person to have this discussion with. She is also a registered nurse, just to put that out there, and she has an idea of things like this. So, and since we've been talking about emotions, and we've had several discussions in relation to that. So I believe this seeing it from someone's perspective, especially someone that's so active with life, would be nice. Not someone like us that we are too gentle,
Ah,
try to take things one at a time. So welcome with me today, Jen. Thank you for joining today.
thank you so much, Toby. It's nice being here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. And do you have anything to mention out there, put out there for people to know about you? Maybe introduce yourself a bit.
Well, my name is Jennifer. I'm joking. my name is Jennifer, as you all know. But I don't know if you don't know or you know. But yeah, my name is Jennifer. Like you said, yeah, I like to be happy. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
it's
a
important.
proper I don't know if that's a proper introduction, but like I kind of live life as YOLO, you only live once, and if it's gonna stress me, I rather sleep it over, wake up and move on with my day. So like you said, I'm a registered nurse. I'm also currently in school right now doing my master's. And I can't wait to finish. So I think that's all about me for now.
She's book, she's the one we read. That's great. At least it's great to know that about you. Something I've actually noticed almost every time is the fun part of you. It's so difficult to see you down, and I know there will definitely be moments whereby you feel
Yeah.
I don't just want to talk to people not so good, or maybe, of course, you're always doing one thing or the other out there, most times being joyful. Times that you are overly joyful, can you just share moments with us?
Oh, wow. Times that not just joyful, you said overly, so I have to think a lot.
Yeah. You can start with the other one where it was a bit down, not like all over the place.
I mean, you know what actually struck to me? One day I was at work. I used to work in emergency. One of the older nurses asked me, and she was like, we were in the lunchroom. She looked at me, and she said, "Jennifer, oh, why are you so happy?" Like, you don't know what you're doing until like someone else tell you.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's a random question, like people don't normally just ask you. People usually just ask you, "How are you?" But not like, "Why are you so happy?" You get what I mean? And I was like, I looked at her. I didn't know how to answer the question, but what came out was like, God. I was like, I'm happy because there's God, and He's it all for me, right? Like there have been like I can't, like there's this inner peace that comes with having a relationship with God, and knowing that you can have worries from today to tomorrow, nothing's gonna change, but just God giving you this internal peace it's amazing. I told him, I was like, God, I was like, I'm alive today because of him. And she was like, who did you grow up with? I was like, well, I didn't really grow up with my parents, right? Back in Nigeria, I grew up with my cousins. Like my mom passed away when I was 3 years old. And my dad was in North America at that time, so I really didn't grow up with my parents. And she was like, "And you're this happy?" I was like, "Yeah." And she said,
Even with such experiences, you don't expect
yeah,
someone to be that happy.
yeah. And she said, "I give them every single thing, and they are not this happy. Like, they're not striving, and they're not like you." And then it brought me back to saying, yeah, it's God, because it's not me per se. It's just this peace that I feel with him, that I have in her. So I don't want to drag it too long, but like, yeah.
That's
So
great.
yeah.
So there have never been a time whereby you just want to be alone and don't want to see.
They have been, no, please, they have been just like it will be like random things, like okay, to be honest, I don't find myself getting too hungry very easily. But like, have there been a time that I was angry? Yes, like my brother, my dad, for sure. But like, I get angry, but I don't stay angry. I don't know if you get that.
Yeah.
So even the Bible says that we can be angry, but before the sun comes down, you should relax and chill, right?
Yeah.
Right? So like, me staying angry is like it's like a burden to me, right? So that's why I can't stay angry, because I feel stressed to be unhappy. So there honestly be sometimes, like, let's say a test did not go on right, or maybe someone is picking on my work, right? Or someone is overly irritating me. Yes, I do get angry, but I don't stay angry. That's the thing.
But how do you express yourself in situations like that? Because I don't think I've ever seen you get angry.
Yeah.
So how do you express
my
it? So you
goodness.
just burst out and
Yeah, so so when I'm really angry, it depends though. If I'm angry with people, angry with my family member, obviously it's different. But like, when I'm really angry, I lose my words. I can't really express myself the way I should. Like, it's like I stammer or something. Like my voice breaks. So I rather just get away from that place. Right? So that's the kind of way I deal with my anger. And if I can find anywhere to just go and lay down and sleep, that's what I do. But again, if it's with my family, especially my younger brother, because he pissed me off so much, so my voice become a bit louder. What is wrong with you? Are you not listening to me? I've been talking to this again. And if I see that it's not going through, I just say, I beg, please, I cannot give myself a high blood pressure. I just relax. And obviously, if I'm angry with my dad, the respect part of it, you cannot just walk away. You have to stay there. They want to see your angry face, which is very irritating, but. So yeah, but when I'm hungry, it depends on who I'm hungry with. I could be loud, especially with my siblings. I could be really boiling, like my temperature will go up. Like, you can see me, I'm so dense and tense and very hangry. But because why I'm becoming like that is that I cannot leave the situation. A part of you have to respect your parents. You have to stay there. You're hungry. If I walk away, I will feel better. But I cannot walk away. My dad will say, "Are you walking away from me? Are you mad? Come back here." You understand what I'm saying? Is this how you talk to your elders? Right? And that's it. And exactly. So my blood is boiling, and I have to sit down in the presence of someone that is irritating me. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But if it is with others, like I said, I lose my words, so I just tend to walk away.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. I think walking away will always work. Then you're saying that you're not the type that bottles things up. You just want to let it go.
It depends though. I can bottle things up
because
sometimes.
that's the next question. How do you handle bottled emotions generally?
Okay, so this is what helped me through, actually, to know that I say this to myself. If I find myself that I'm still upset about something that I thought I thought I'd just let that thing go, but it's still in there, I tell myself that forgiveness is not for the person, forgiveness is not for that person, but for you. Right? So when we forgive, like, obviously, like, even when I was younger, there's people that have hurt me dearly, but like, I begin to understand that when I actually pray and forgive, I'm the one that feels better, fam. I'm the one that feels better, because the honest truth that is that you cannot control the reaction of, you cannot control the action of other people. What you can control is your reaction towards what they're doing to you, right? So you might be here getting angry, getting upset whenever you see that person. You're putting that burden on yourself, and they are walking free. They do not. The fact that upset me the most is that they do not even know that you're angry. You get what I mean? And then, do you know that all these emotions, this hatred, and this burden that we carry, they all end up becoming cancers to ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? We create our own disease because we're upset with someone and the person is living life free. So I tell myself, so what's the point of me holding this hatred and holding all this stuff when the person might not even know that I'm angry and they are living their best life? Please. I'm a baby girl life living best life. So hatred will not make me do that. Getting angry will not make me do that. So I mean, why should I be killing myself when I can live the, you know what I mean? So yeah.
The baby girl. Well, in most cases, do you acknowledge that you feel that way, or you just be like, nothing to me? You know, maybe when you.
Oh yeah,
sad,
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. Like, oh my goodness. I feel like sometimes I have two people in me, because like I'm literally sad and I don't cry that much, but like the part that make me cry the most is when someone will touch you and say, oh you're sad, hey, I would just start bawling. Like, don't touch me when I'm upset. Like, give me my space. When I say I want to walk away, I want to walk away. The moment you touch me, even though I don't want to cry, I will start crying, right? So like, but there are those times where I'm like alone and I'm hurt and all that, right? And then I just bawl. I keep saying crying is not necessary for the weak. It's just like sometimes you need to cry. I think I was telling you guys at one point, sometimes you need to cry things out and you get better. It's like venting to yourself and God. Like obviously there is those times where I'm alone and I just cry, and then I hear another voice. When I say I'm like two in one, sometimes another voice be like, what is doing this one? Will you get up your out of there? What are you crying for? You're just wasting your tears, right? So there's another voice telling me that I'm like, leave me alone, right? It's like you're having two conversations going on, and then I just get up and shake it off. Like I'm a matter, I shake things off a lot because that's how I live my life. I cannot come and keep myself.
But are there tips to just that helps you in moments like that? Maybe I think you already mentioned like.
So like what I've been saying, one, I tell myself forgiveness is not for the person but for you. You're going to get peace of mind when you forgive. When you let it go, you feel like something has been lifted off from your shoulders, from your heart. Like it's so much better when you let things go. That's one thing, one of the tips. And the other thing, I just say YOLO. You only live once. Do you really want to sit your ass down and complain or get upset with this person, or you pick up your baggage and move, sis? Like, you know the Nigeria word, we move. We have to move. Exactly. You know what I mean? So
it's important. Next step. That's it.
So I don't really listen to much of like listening to an album and just memorize the song and cry. That's not my thing. I rather sleep, watch Korean drama, do something active that brings joy. Yeah, being in a depressive state is very annoying to me. Like I'm stressed being in that state, so I just like I'm like, fam, we move.
Yeah, and of course I think we'll talk a bit about that before we leave this place today, because I think it's so important, because I think there is a way people see, should I say, extroverted people, and I think there are some myths that we need to talk about. But before talking about that, and then you can give your final thoughts, I believe there must have been times whereby you were triggered to act in a particular way. Was there any time like that, and can you remember any of that situation?
Triggered to act a particular way. Please, I don't want to go to my gangster days, okay? I don't know why when you said trigger, the thing that came to my head when I was in JSS 3 in Nigeria. Yeah. And hey Jesus, so come on, you want to open my hands in this podcast. Yeah, so when I was in JSS 3, I remember fighting in front of a class. So I used to cut my hair, and you know what they call abori in Nigeria. Yeah. So basically you're bald, right? So I was I don't know. We call it abori in Nigeria, from Delta State. That's where I'm from. Shout out to all my Warri people.
It's more of a part.
Yeah, so like people would just be smacking my head, right? Like they're making fun of me and they would smack my and that thing is painful. Think about it. I don't have any hair in the head. They just smack and you can hear the sound like the thing used to annoying me. They'll be smacking my head. One day this girl just smacked my head. Before I know it, I don't know where the energy came from. It's like something and Delilah, or the way Samson just lifted that thing and destroyed the whole thing. I just carried this Gessi beating. I'm not okay. I know this is kind of like a one-sided story, and you guys might feel like I'm not the one that win. I actually won that fight. I'm not joking.
Of course, I know you. You have that trait.
I won that fight. like so that's like a big trigger because I didn't know where that strength came from. I was so pissed, and I just we started fighting. The blow each other. This is a man fight, not the woman fight. So we're just fighting and all that. That's a trigger. Like there's sometimes the trigger come out, but thank God for His grace, the trigger has not come out for a long time.
So of course, yeah. You've been able to master some of those things and you've moved on. But even talking about triggers, it's not necessarily maybe something bad. You know, someone can say something that you'll be so happy for the rest of that day. And there are situations like that.
Emotional triggers, yeah for
just
sure.
To be joyful.
I mean, like complimenting my work. Why not? Yeah, like I mean,
is it just the normal compliment, or because there are situations whereby you are used to some certain kind of compliments, or maybe it also depends on the person it's coming from, I guess.
Yeah, I can. I mean, if I'm a fine boy, why not? I'm joking. Yeah, you're right. It depends on the person it's coming from. As much as we say we're strong, we're confident, and all that, we all at the end of the day. Let me just speak for myself, but we somehow just want that compliment, like a dad telling a child that you did well today, right? Or like you doing your hard work and people complimenting you, for sure, right? So I mean, there's definitely been a time, especially when you dress nice, because I like to dress nice sometimes. Right? So I mean, give the compliment. Nobody's charging you for it. Don't be stingy with it. When time, and I love to compliment people too. I mean, look at the works of God. Compliment when you see it. There's no, it's not taking any charges from you.
But for some people, it takes process, especially when you're not used to it. And I think you have to see life from
everyone's perspective,
I can say,
right?
A lot of perspective, a broad perspective. Because for me, I didn't grow up in that light of really complimenting or being complimented most times. So it doesn't come to me naturally just complimenting someone like that. But it takes, of course, this consciousness. And I believe there are a lot of things you have to work on to as humans. And I believe that's the reason why platforms like this help to know that it's so important. But that's just the beauty of it. You know, there are times when you are complimented and you feel, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
It comes to hard complimenting people sometimes. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a great point. You know, compliment people. It doesn't take anything out from you, out of you in a way. So
for sure. You can totally change someone's day. It can go from like a 0 to like a 80 for just one compliment, right? So you never know.
That goes a long way. And of course, I think you mentioned, you talked a bit about the an extrovert trait in a way, because one thing I wanted to ask is, what will you say to people generally? And I think you mentioned something related to confidence. Most times you feel they are confident, they know what they are doing, and then you do not see the need to say some things or do some things for them. So what's just the common thing that you've really observed when it comes to treating extroverts? Because I think there was a time we had this discussion, and I noticed most times you overlook things. You feel like someone who is extroverted doesn't have any problem. Everything is just rosy and everything like that. So what are your thoughts on that, and what would you suggest to people out there, especially how to treat people generally?
I would say to know that sometimes not all confidence that are reflected outward is actually inward, right? Because some people try to compensate, right? And especially sometimes the ones that are overly, you can see it, right? It's not really how they feel inside. It's just trying to compensate. Maybe some people are already used to making other people happy, so they try to stay in that state. Even when they're not happy, they're trying to please other people as well. So there's a word I always say: check on your happy friends. It's not a joke, right? So check on them as well. They also need the care. They also need people to make them happy as well. So the most beautiful thing is when the inside reflects outside, right? Because that inside is the one that is more important. So I just say that, like, I don't want to bring different examples in, but it's just that you see today happy people that committed suicide, and you're wondering, like, how did this happen? You were so happy, then how did you end up committing suicide, right? So it's important to check up on everyone, not just the ones that are down.
Thank you for mentioning that, and I believe it's so important. Check up on your even happy friends. Check up on everyone. Care about people, and that's one thing I just feel. Care about people genuinely. When you care about people, I think it reflects on the way you treat them. It reflects a lot. And do you have any final thoughts, or because you've said a lot already? Or is there any other thing you want to put out there before?
I just want to say, take life one day at a time. I don't want to start singing now because people don't like my singing voice, but they don't understand that this is Beyonce's voice. Now, I mean,
you are trying, actually.
I don't like to show myself.
You're better than someone.
Someone that is on this call right now, I'm better than them. But I was just gonna say, one day at a time, sweet Jesus. So take everything one day at a time. There are things that you cannot control. There are things that are not under your control, and not be about doing by force. How did they say it? Is it that language? But like, take it one day at a time, right? And what you cannot control, leave it. Leave it. It will be where at the end of the day. So that's what I'm gonna say.
Thanks a lot. What you cannot control, leave it. Just take it one step at a time. Once it's beyond you, just ditch it. Thanks a lot for coming. I know you're very busy. You're this. We have to book an appointment to.
I mean, next time you're speaking to my accountant, my PA, my invisible PA.
But it's really a great opportunity to at least have this discussion with you, and I must thank all our friends for releasing you at this time.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. So thank you guys for listening, and I hope to see you next week. And as I will say, please share, follow, and also subscribe, like it, and talk to someone about it.
See ya.
See you next week. Bye.